In a recent vlog, Bachar Khan talked about a conference in New York where a large number of the expatriate intellectuals, namely journalists, got together and talked about a presidential versus a prime ministerial system. And it seemed that there was a debate. Most people thought that the presidential system may be a solution. I don't see how. I think the debate should have been a little more intensive, and perhaps I'd like to invite these guys to do it online because we should all get into it and talk about this. Is the presidential system a solution? I'm not sure. The prime ministerial system already operates like a presidential system. The prime minister is all powerful. He controls the parliament. He can use patronage whichever way he likes. For example, all of the media is bought out. We know that. The media is simply bought out by the government largesse. Government pays the media. So there's no real private sector media, no independent media in this country. Then the government makes all the appointments. And the government has the power to appoint all the parliamentarians, or at least a large majority of them, anybody who matters, either a minister or an advisor or some board or the other. So the Prime Minister controls them. Prime Minister controls the civil service entirely. They are all his favorites. You know that. Shahbaz Sharif brought them in from Punjab. They're his favorites. So the Prime Minister controls everything in the country. As you can see now, they can also get laws, constitutions amended as they like, when they like. They can appoint judges, they can do everything. So I don't see what the presidential system is going to do for us. Even if we had a presidential system, the point is we are electing a king. What we need is more checks and balances. And I've written about it often, but I guess these journalists really don't read the literature in Pakistan. They're opinionated. We've written the reform agenda. Unless we change the way elections are conducted, unless we define parties better, unless we define party leadership better, it's not just that the opposition leader can lose a symbol, but what about the parties that never have an election? Or they have an election with one candidate only? This has to go. What about staggered elections? Why should elections happen one day for 5 years? Why can't the provincial assemblies and the national assemblies be staggered? Why can't we have local governments and they can be staggered? I think these are important questions that should have been brought up, and not just that we want a presidential government. Where is the debate? Why did it happen? Why is it not put on YouTube? So let's not think of simple solutions. The other solution is, for example, decentralization in our system. As I put in my earlier video, that 25 VCs appointed in one meeting. And the Chancellor, who is often the governor, some government official, acts like a king. He can destroy VCs, do anything. The VC also acts like a king. I think we have to bring bourgeois values to the system. Values that are important, where everybody realizes that they have a role to play and there are no kings. Regulatory agencies are controlled by bureaucrats. Everything is controlled and centralized by the Prime Minister and his lackeys, the bureaucrats. And the parliamentarians behave like they are kings too. Like I put out in a Substack article, my colleague wrote an article outlining the cost of the government. And there was a privilege motion in the inquiry. Why should we have privilege motion on trying to figure out what the costs of parliament are? Every country does it. But here, these guys' egos are hurt. And we don't talk about it. So let's try and think of deep systemic changes. This notion also that suddenly if the army goes to the barracks, things will change. Well, I'm all for that. But these politicians just are not responsible. Look at the way they run the PSTP. Look at the way they use patronage. All these PSTP funds are used as patronage. All the information ministry funds are used as patronage. So if you want a presidential or prime minister system, we have to check patronage first. We have to check the candidates. They have to be candidates worthy of entering the system. Not just anybody you can pick up. Not, His Majesty's son or daughter. We have to have a system of competition well defined. Maybe we need primaries. Maybe we need party rule lists. Maybe we need party memberships to expand to 300 or 400 or 500,000 people. Maybe we need to see credible party leadership candidates every election, or at least every 3 years. Maybe we need to see term limits. Maybe these people need to know if we have a presidential system, then maybe it should be like Mexico, one term only. I don't know why people cannot think out of the box. Why we must think in terms of simplistic labels, presidential or prime minister. Every constitution has to be clearly thought out. Powers have to be distributed, and people have to be checked from becoming kings. This was the message from the old philosophers. I guess it hasn't arrived here yet. We seem to think that there is a fast food solution. There is no fast food solution. We have to think through things. So therefore, my message to Wajahat Khan, Mohit Pirzada and others is, please let's get together and have a more serious discussion. Simplistic solutions are not the answer. This is a more complex problem, and let's bring the complexity out. Let's ask for example, elections to be conducted on the mobile phone. This bullshit that is not secure is clearly wrong. Let's ask for elections to be conducted in such a way that there could be second round voting so that we have a clear 51%. Let's ask for election to be conducted on party lists or some other mechanism. There are many mechanisms. Let's change the first past the post system. And let's be clear that we need to make sure that there are term limits, that people do not stay there for a lifetime. Being a parliamentarian is not a full-time job. It's a part-time job. That should be done for 1 or 2 terms, bring in fresh people. So there are a number of things that need to be thought through, and the Prime Minister should not be making every appointment. Why is he making every appointment? And the parliamentarians should not be, they should be in parliament. They should not have cabinet position. Okay, fine. The Brits had it because it is history. Do we have to be subservient to British history? Can we not think of something new? So I hope these guys will listen. Otherwise, it's very easy to sit in a room and self-congratulate. Let's talk to each other. Let's figure out better solutions. My reform agenda is lying there on the website. Look at it. Talk about it. Let's listen to your reform agenda. And let's get into the details. Just big brush presidential versus prime minister will not do it. We have to get into the details. Thank you, folks. Hope to see you soon. Welcome to see our conversations.